In the heart of Harlem, 16-year-old Eli Brooks was a prodigy with a gift that defied logic. While most kids in the neighborhood dreamt of hooping their way to the NBA or rapping their way out of poverty, Eli was different. He had the uncanny ability to hear people's thoughts when he played his violin. It wasn't just any violin. It was an old, battered instrument passed down from his late grandfather, a jazz musician who once played in the underground clubs of Harlem. Eli lived with his mother, Regina, who worked double shifts as a nurse to keep their tiny apartment afloat. Their life was modest but filled with love and music. Regina often reminded Eli of his grandfather's words, "Music isn't just sound, son. It's a bridge to the soul." Eli never truly understood what that meant until the night he first heard the whispers. It was at a community showcase in Marcus Garvey Park. Eli had played his favorite piece, a soulful rendition of Strange Fruit, when the whispers began. They weren't from the crowd. They were from within. Thoughts and emotions from the people around him seeped into his mind, raw and unfiltered. The applause that night was deafening, but Eli left the stage shaken. What had just happened? Regina noticed his unease. "What's wrong, baby?" she asked as they walked home. Eli hesitated, but decided to keep his experience to himself. "Nothing, Ma," he replied, forcing a smile. But deep down, he knew something had changed. The whispers grew stronger with every performance. Eli started avoiding crowded places, worried he'd lose control. But one evening, while walking home from school, he took a shortcut through an alley and encountered a man who seemed to be waiting for him. The man was tall and imposing, with skin like polished onyx and eyes that gleamed gold in the fading sunlight. "Eli Brooks," the man said, his voice deep and melodic. "You have the gift, just like your grandfather." Eli froze. "Who are you?" he demanded, clutching his violin case like a lifeline. The man smiled. "My name is Silas. I knew your grandfather well. He never told you about his abilities, did he?" Silas stepped closer, and Eli instinctively backed away. "Relax, boy. I'm not here to harm you. I'm here to guide you." Eli's mind raced. Abilities? What was this man talking about? "You've got the wrong person," Eli muttered, trying to sidestep Silas. But Silas wasn't deterred. "You've already felt it, haven't you? The thoughts, the emotions, they're not yours, but they flood your mind when you play." Silas's words stopped Eli in his tracks. "Your grandfather had the same gift, and he used it to help people. But he didn't understand its full potential. You, however, can." Eli stared at Silas, torn between disbelief and curiosity. Before he could respond, Silas handed him a small, leather-bound book. "This belonged to your grandfather. Read it. When you're ready to learn more, you'll find me." With that, Silas disappeared into the shadows, leaving Eli alone in the alley. That night, Eli locked himself in his room and opened the book. The pages were filled with handwritten notes, sketches, and cryptic symbols. It was a journal detailing his grandfather's life as a musician and something more. One entry caught Eli's eye. "The violin is more than an instrument. It's a conduit, a tool to channel the thoughts and feelings of those around me. But it comes at a cost. The more I use it, the more it takes from me. I must find balance." Eli's heart raced as he read further. His grandfather had discovered the ability in his 20s, using it to heal the emotional wounds of others. But there were warnings, too. Prolonged use could blur the lines between his own thoughts and those of others, leading to madness. The journal also mentioned Silas. "He's not to be trusted," one entry warned. "Silas seeks to use the gift for his own gain. He promises power, but it's a dangerous path." Eli slammed the book shut, his mind spinning. Who was Silas? And why had he sought him out now? He needed answers, but he also needed guidance. The whispers were getting louder, and he couldn't control them much longer. The next day, Eli confided in his best friend, Malik. "Man, this sounds crazy," Malik said, eyeing the journal. "But if it's true, you gotta be careful. You don't know what this Silas dude really wants." Eli nodded. "I'm not sure I want any of this, but I don't think I have a choice." Determined to gain some control over his abilities, Eli began practicing with his violin in secret. The whispers were overwhelming at first, like a chaotic chorus invading his mind. But slowly, he learned to focus, isolating individual thoughts and emotions. It was exhausting both mentally and physically, but Eli was determined. One night, as he practiced in his room, he felt something shift. The music seemed to flow differently, like it was alive. The whispers softened, replaced by a clarity he had never experienced before. It wasn't just thoughts he was hearing now. It was memories, fragments of people's lives intertwined with their emotions. Eli was both fascinated and terrified. The journal had warned about the dangers of going too deep, but he couldn't stop. He needed to understand his gift. As he played, he thought of his mother, of her struggles and sacrifices. The music swelled, and for a brief moment, he felt her presence, her love wrapping around him like a warm embrace. The next day, Eli decided to confront Silas. He found him waiting in the same alley, as if he had never left. "I've been practicing," Eli said, holding the journal. "I know what this gift can do, but I need to know more." "Why me?" Silas smiled, his golden eyes gleaming. "You're asking the right questions, boy, but the answers come at a price. Are you ready to pay it?" Eli hesitated. The journal's warnings echoed in his mind, but he needed to know the truth. "I'm ready," he said finally. Silas led Eli to an abandoned club deep in Harlem, a place Eli's grandfather had frequented. Inside, the air was thick with history, the walls lined with photos of jazz legends. In the center of the room was a stage, and on it, a gleaming violin rested on a stand. "This was your grandfather's," Silas said, gesturing to the violin. "It's more powerful than the one you have, but it's also more dangerous. Are you willing to take the risk?" Eli approached the violin cautiously. As he touched it, a surge of energy coursed through him. The whispers returned, louder than ever, but this time they didn't overwhelm him. Instead, they seemed to guide him, shaping his music. Silas watched with a satisfied smile. "You're stronger than your grandfather, but strength alone won't save you. You must learn to control the gift, or it will consume you." Over the next few weeks, Silas trained Eli, pushing him to his limits. The music became a language, a way to connect with people on a level deeper than words. But Eli also began to see the darker side of his gift. He could manipulate emotions, bending people to his will. It was a power that terrified him. "This isn't right," Eli said one evening after a particularly intense session. "I don't want to control people." Silas's expression darkened. "Then you're wasting your potential. This world is cruel, boy. If you don't use your power, someone else will use it against you." Eli realized that Silas's intentions weren't as noble as he claimed. He decided it was time to break free, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. Eli's plan to sever ties with Silas began with gathering strength, not just his own, but from those he trusted. Malik had become his confidant, and together they pieced together clues from the journal and stories Regina shared about Eli's grandfather. They learned that Silas had been a shadowy figure in his grandfather's life too, offering guidance but always demanding loyalty in return. "He feeds on ambition," Malik said, flipping through the journal. "It's like he's collecting power from you." Eli nodded. "And I've been giving it to him willingly." "Not anymore." The breaking point came during a session at the club. Silas demanded Eli play a piece that would sway an entire audience to his will. "This is the ultimate test," Silas said. "If you can do this, no one will ever doubt your greatness." Eli refused. "I'm done letting you use me. This gift isn't yours to control." Silas's smile faded, replaced by a cold, menacing glare. "You think you can walk away from me? You don't understand what you're dealing with, boy." Eli stood his ground. "Maybe not, but I know enough to stop you." With that, Eli played a haunting melody, one that channeled every ounce of fear, anger, and determination he had. The walls of the club seemed to tremble as the music filled the space. Silas recoiled, his form flickering like a dying flame. "This isn't over," Silas hissed before disappearing into the shadows. The victory over Silas was short-lived. Though Eli had managed to drive him away, The consequences of their battle began to manifest. The whispers grew louder and more insistent, and Eli struggled to distinguish his own thoughts from those of others. The power he had unleashed was both a blessing and a curse. Malik urged Eli to seek help, but Eli was hesitant. Who would believe me? They think I'm crazy. Regina, however, noticed a change in her son. One evening, she confronted him. Eli, you're carrying something heavy. I can see it. Whatever it is, you don't have to face it alone. Eli finally opened up to his mother, sharing everything about the gift, Silas, and the journal. Regina listened intently, her face a mix of concern and determination. Your grandfather faced his own demons with this gift. He found a way to use it for good. And so will you. As Eli prepared for the next phase of his journey, he couldn't shake the feeling that Silas was still watching, waiting for an opportunity to strike again. But this time, Eli wasn't alone. With Malik and Regina by his side, he vowed to uncover the truth about his gift and ensure it would never be used for harm. To be continued in part 2. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our growing channel. Your support is everything to us.